welcome back to this episode of Virtual Courtside, the sleepiest 2K League podcast in the world. I'm your host, Sleepy Harris Rubenstein.
And I'm wide awake, Dirk. Because I'm fucking ready.
He's ready. I'm not. My insomnia kept me up late last night, but that's okay. We're still going to get a pot out because it's the 3v3 playoffs. And we had a much better day yesterday than we did on day one. No coincidence, considering we're just kind of shedding the bad teams as we go. And we got to see Lakers gaming and Magic gaming to open things up. That was cool, and that sound.
There's a person at my front door. There's a bug at my nan's door. And it's getting fucking cold.
I was not ready for that. All right, so we're going to go through the games for last night. Then we'll preview what we're going to see today. I do want to say that getting to Friday of any NBA 2K League playoffs run is kind of like the day where you're like, okay, we really accomplished something.
Yeah.
Like, day 3 is really when the chips hit the table. So
well, this is when we have the biggest leap in terms of money on the line. Like, we're starting to get to the series now that like will exponentially just increase your dollar amount as you like continue to go forward. Especially these two matchups that you have in the upper bracket. I think that's where you like jumps up like 20K, 30K, maybe more.
Lots of money.
Yeah.
Lots of money. I think it goes from like 17.5 to like 37.5. I think this is the leap. So we're gonna go through the series from last night, and then we'll get into the series that we're going on today. We have a lot of series to get through, so let's start. Lakers gaming Nets GC. This series, honestly, we previewed the hell out of this series.
Yeah.
We talked about how the Nets were probably going to come out hot because they have to. Greens looked good to open things up. And then the Nets just started to net. Like, they literally just did what the Nets have done all year, which is they all just start smoking their shots, and when they start smoking their shots, they lose confidence on the other end. Their defense starts to suck. And this Lakers gaming team, bro, Streets during one of the listen-ins called them front runners.
Yep.
I don't even know if front runners is the right word. They're momentum shifters. Like, all they do is hunt down the most momentum shifting possible plays they can, and then just slap you in the face with like a big momentum dildo. Like, it is crazy just watching them play. Like, these games will be close. They'll make like 2 plays and wham, they just win by like 10. I don't understand it. It's been all season. It's been the exact same strategy to win games. And yeah, another 3-1 win for the Lakers.
A momentum dildo.
Yeah, dude. Like, they dropped the first game and hit him with a 3 straight, just
That's like GTA San Andreas back in the day.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm thinking about. I'm still so impressed by this Lakers team. Like, they were a little bit slow shooting the ball, but like, not really.
Well, both the Lakers and Magic played out exactly as I expected. I thought that was going to be slow to start off with some of the shooting. Was exactly right on that, but I was like, by the time we hit game 2 and onwards, these teams will probably figure it out. And when they do, it's going to get scary. And guess what? They're going to look like the top 2 teams that we have in the entire NBA 2K League. And that's how everything kind of unfolded for the Nets. It'll be one of the mystery, put them up there with the Pistons in terms of a mystery that I don't know if we'll ever get the true answer to of why a team of that caliber struggled. Especially what makes theirs, I would even say, I don't know how you feel about this. No. I think that their downfall is a little bit worse than what the Pistons had because they brought back the exact same lineup.
On purpose.
And any time that you come back and you have that same lineup in back-to-back years, that second year is usually where you take the leap, where you were better than last year. They were worse than last year.
I didn't agree with their decision to bring back all 3 of them. I didn't know. I like that they, from a fives perspective, I was okay with it. I was just shocked that they didn't find like another threes guy. And I think it comes down to like, that's just how Kurt builds teams. Like, he likes building teams through long periods of time, getting guys in that he knows are going to fit the system. Honestly, I think my biggest issue with the Nets team is that they clearly hit their ceiling last year. Like, we saw what their ceiling was. Their ceiling was a Final Four team. And then I think they just figured that time and experience would get them over the edge. But we're just not playing on the same league build that we were last year. And I think this trio just doesn't really work as well on this build as it did on the last one, where shooting was a little bit more cracked out. You could do a little bit more as a guard. But once they kind of took 5% of Green's superpower away, this team just fell apart.
Yeah.
One thing I do want to know, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. I do find it really funny that the 4 teams that are remaining in the winners bracket are the Lakers, the Magic, Genji, and the T-Wolves. So more things change, more than stay the same. Let's get on to that T-Wolves series because we didn't see too much of it. But I remember we opened up the show and we were starting a little bit late. And all of a sudden I looked down at my phone and it's the T-Wolves Twitter account going, Game 1, we've fallen, but we will return. And it was 21-14 Dribble Gods. And we're like, no, not again, right? No, it's not going to happen again. And then they just smoked them. They put them in a pipe and they smoked them. It was a 3-0 shellacking after that first game. This T-Wolves team, dude, they are on some kind of streak. They are hotter than hell. They got flames shooting out of their ass. This is insane.
That's why the Lakers T-Wolves matchup is going to be the best one.
Oh, it's going to be amazing.
Had.
I can't wait.
I mean, there was already talking from Bear. I think it was either to VC or Trelly, and of course, like Kai was down there. So there's going to be probably the most energetic matchup that we've had throughout the entirety of the playoffs. I think for the Dribble Gods, it was good that they showed us some life. They were able to beat some 2K League teams on this run. At least they would take a game. I feel bad for them that they never got the actual stage experience.
Yeah,
that always makes me feel kind of hurt by that, because I mean I do feel like up there it is more comfortable for them.
Yeah.
But you never know that when you get down there to the stage. So I think that's the only thing I feel like I'm like, damn, they didn't get to really get the. Well, obviously Kenny's just had that before. But JG and Baby Virgil, they never have out there on the stage. So it was good, but that's the tough part, is that you work all season, you don't beat 2K League teams, you've been struggling against them, and of course in the final event of the year in the playoffs is when you start to win, but then now you're eliminated. It's like, shit, well, we finally got some wins, but now everything's over.
I will say, prior to Dribble Gods, they made some good money this week. Even with that, even just winning one round in the upper bracket is good for an extra couple thousand. So I'm sure that they're maybe a little disappointed, but you made the playoffs, you won a round, you fought, you looked pretty good. So I think they had a pretty good week.
Yeah.
We'll do a full in memoriam for them when we get to the bottom of the bracket. But shout out T-Wolves, man, they are just on some kind of all-time heater right now. I'm trying to think. They have won. Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. They have won 12 of their last 14 series. Jesus. They're 12-2 in their last 14. It's an insane run. Speaking of insane runs, Magic Gaming, I loved this series. Them versus the Heat. I thought it was really, really high-level basketball across the board. Just both teams just throwing haymakers at each other, trying to survive. But I'm sorry, man. The Heat and Orlando they ended up being on completely different levels. I mean, this Magic team is ridiculous. They're ridiculous. Just when you think that you might have them, they just slip away from your grasp. They go on an 8-2 run, and you're just losing.
Yeah.
What was the run that they went on? They went on an 18-4 run against Miami in Game 3. I mean, come on.
I think they were down.
It was 11-4 or something.
Yeah, I think maybe 10-4.
Yeah. And
then they came all the way back and won.
It's come on. They're almost, I don't want to say they're too good and they're not beatable, but it's just I think I can look at almost every team in the league and I can tell you how you could probably consistently beat them and get games off of them. I don't know what the analysis is for how to make the Magic lose. All three of them are just so good. Dude, the weakness used to be Unguardable's defense. I'd argue that he's been one of the best off-ball defending guards that we've had in the league this year. It's crazy.
I still, to this day, when you go back and look at when Magic Game was most beatable, it's when Low-Key God gets taken out of the game.
Yeah.
And you're forcing a two-man show of Jay Bull and Unguardable to kind of carry things. And when you go back to that LA series back in the Slam, when LA was dominating them, Low-Key God was 0 points, some rebounds, not even getting shot attempts.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's what it takes. I mean, and it's tough too because it puts a lot of pressure on Jay Bullen. And me personally, right, I would much rather have a tandem of offense that Unguardable and Jay Bullen compared to an Unguardable and Low-Key Godlike with Jay Bullen sprinkled in.
Yeah.
I want to take Low-Key Godlike out of the game as much as possible, but it's so fucking hard to do because that man does everything so good, from off-ball work to putting the ball down the floor, fucking shooting shots off the dribble, the paint work. He's just a nuisance. He's one of the more annoying guys to play against. But I think with how well structured this team is, the game planning all the way around it, there was a lot of concerns about Jay Bullen in the remote stages when he was in big-time games. He was kind of shitting the bed a little bit when he had shots. He wasn't taking them. Out here on stage, I did not expect him to play this well. I thought there may be a little bit of a period to where we have to see him kind of go to that next level happen right off the bat. And Ungard was probably the most vocal that we've seen him on stage with his trash talk from the moment that series started all the way to the end. So they have this new level of confidence, and rightfully so. There was a big matchup always going against the inside, but if there's somebody who's going to cancel out the inside every single time, it is a player like low-key godlike.
I knew that series was over when, I think it was after game 3. When Kai had been going at Jay Bullen all series long, and credit to Kai, like he was hitting some crazy shots, like he was really like killing their defense. He was sending Jay Bullen all over the place. And then after game 3, Jay Bullen had an amazing game. They forced Kai into like a lot of bad shots. He hit like 2 threes or something. That game ends. Jay Bullen just gets up and starts screaming at Kai out of nowhere. I'm like, dude, I haven't heard you like say more than 5 words all year, and he's just going at Kai. And I'm like, oh shit, oh goddamn, here comes Jay Bullen. And it was like, okay, I know that this series is over. This team means so much business.
Yeah.
Very, very impressed by Magic Gaming. One thing I want to say about Godlike, I don't know if this is like a thing or like a skill gap. Nobody gets better catch animations than he does. So what'll happen is that he'll set a screen, and then he'll flare out to the left wing, and then somebody will pass in the ball, and he'll get that ridiculous catch animation where it like catches the ball and also takes like 3 gigantic steps to the left to get behind the 3-point arc. I swear I saw it happen like 3 times, and then he just swishes it every time. It creates so much space. Is it luck?
It kind of is. It kind of isn't. It's all about timing of the passes and like knowing when to get it. So like certain catches, right, that we see some people get, they might the fumbled catches completely RNG.
You can't do anything about that.
But there's some specifically when you're going at an angle to where it can drag you the right way, and there's only so many animations you can get in 2K.
Right.
So the one you're talking about is on that flare up to where he like catches it. His guy will take steps as he's catching.
Yeah, those huge steps and like he also gets the perfect gather and release.
Yeah, it's always the flare ups that come from the corner and then they come up.
Exactly.
So it's all about the timing of the pass, and the angle has to be right. So if you go too deep, like say you just run a straight line up to the hash, it's going to pull you out deep. If you then like go on the inside and you start curving your guy this way,
what it is.
Then you'll get the clean one. If you go too far in, that's what pulls people in for the middies.
He has these perfect curve angles coming up off of that corner, and also off of screens as well when he kind of has to go the opposite curve of it and kind of get more towards like the little rounding of the curve on the 3-point line. But yeah, I feel for Gen G today, man. I'm not really sure what the game plan is to beat them. You just have to hope that they miss their shots. That's really the only way.
Yeah, like
that's it.
I think I think you do have to try to play some mind games with them. I think that a lot of people, nobody really shows them like the sellout looks, you know, where you just start jumping at them and then they're like, oh shit, okay, well now I got to rethink my game. And if you're able to mix that up, which I don't think people really go with that mentality too much in some of these games.
Yeah. All right, on to the next one. Gen G versus Celtics. This was a great series. I felt this was one of the series where it felt like neither team kind of not wanted to win, but like could win. Mm-hmm. Like they were so even. They clashed almost exactly what we thought they were. I thought Leitch played great in this series, but this Gen G team just scraps together wins, man. They're scrappy. They're kind of the anti-Gen G from last year, where they just keep finding really interesting ways to win. They've come back. I think they've been down in both of their series so far.
Reverse swept both series.
Yeah, reverse swept both series so far. Just so impressive. And again, classic Celtics, bro. Yesterday felt like looking into looking into the future and like just looking into the past and seeing every single Celtics crossover series that we watched all year, which is, whoa, Leche looks really good. And, wait, they lost? It's every single series. They get reverse swept or they blow it in some way. Gen G takes advantage. I feel for Boston, man. That's just how everything's been going.
Yeah, so my issue is...
Is that Ala? Say hi to Ala.
Yeah, she said she didn't wake up in time to get her Starbucks.
That's brutal.
DoorDash, question mark? Oh, by the way, so I was sending pictures of Cavaliers to her.
Yeah.
Because I was like, Olive is a Cavalier.
Yeah, for sure.
And she goes, no, she's a Chihuahua something. This is like, no, she's a fucking Cavalier mixed with some other.
With something else,
It's a cockler is what the name of it's called. It's a Cocker Spaniel Cavalier mix. And it can range from being like miniature dogs to fucking big dogs.
What's the second dog's name?
What?
What was the second mix you said?
Oh, it's a Cocker Spaniel and Cavalier.
They could have just made it a Cavalier Spaniel instead of coming up with that ridiculous first name.
Sometimes you gotta love cock.
Anyway,
I think with Gen G, it's concerning for me because in the playoffs you can only reverse sweep so much before it's really going to come back to haunt you going down 2-0.
Oh, dude, Orlando's going to sweep them if they go down 2-0.
So they can't have that. This will be Gen G's first game actually on the main stage.
Yes.
Play that into the mix and seeing the shooting struggles of teams that have been going onto the main stage for the first time.
Yeah.
So just factor that in. So there is almost a guarantee that Gen G will lose game 1.
Yes.
If they lose game 2, they are not reverse sweeping. And if that does happen, they reverse sweep. Holy fuck, Gen G. What kind of magic do you have going on within your organization? For the Celtics, man, such a good team, so underwhelming. It's almost crazy how easy it is to call in big moments. Like I was surprised, honestly. I thought they were going to take game 4 yesterday, and I thought game 5 they were just going to lose because they always lose the big games. It turns out they lost the big game there, the elimination game, which I probably should have changed my prediction because oh fuck, backs against the wall.
There you go.
Can they do it? So it's weird, man, because I don't know where the Celtics necessarily go from this because they have the talent. I don't think they have that vocal swagger about them that you need to be able to be successful.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of shows with the stage play. But also, again, I just remembered this. Lecce's shot selection when they can close out games has been fucking putrid all year.
He gets
was it the pull-up midi that was contested or the 3?
He puts on the cape. He thinks he's Superman when he tries to go over these game winners, bro. This is like a multi-month thing now where he tries to like hit these crazy kill shots.
And like there's just no chance of the shot going in whatsoever. And so
do you know what it is? It's like the man. It's not that he plays most of 2K with like no confidence. But he plays 2K so emotionless that when he all of a sudden starts taking these really dramatic shots, we're like, whoa.
And he just kind of goes like, shakes his head like, whoa.
Like, well, hold your horses there, buddy. Like, just keep the same momentum. And speaking of, we can keep with the Celtics here. They, in the lower bracket, they lost to Grizz Gaming 3-1 in the classic battle of who can blow this series harder. Look, I'll say this about the Grizz, bro. Boy, did they want to blow that series. You could feel it. They were handing that series to the Celtics on a platter. Like, here, if you want to take it, you can have it. Here you go, man. But they just kept grinding. Icy and Odon. I actually thought Vandy was pretty bad that series. He had a couple of nice shots, but Icy and Odon absolutely carried them on stage. I was really impressed by them. That was probably the best series I think they've played as a duo. I think maybe this year. I was really impressed by them.
Yeah.
In memoriam for Celtics Crossover Gaming. They are who we thought they were. Again, I feel like I've said that so many times the past 3 pods. They have a lot of talent, but they just did not have a secondary offensive player. Yeah. Tazo's shooting is so brutal for this game mode. He just can't have a lock who can't create off the dribble. And then Crizzy, I think Crizzy's this season was a little bit disappointing for me. I really wanted to see him take a big leap and become like one of the best power forwards in threes. Yeah, like I wanted to really get up there, and the offense just never really worked out for him. And like the shooting is just okay. Like they never really any big time impactful offensive plays. They were really too Lecce heavy shooting the ball. And you know, I'm excited for this team in 5s. I'll tell you one thing. You want to know what this team fucking needs? This team fucking needs 630. Like that's for damn sure. They need a dog on the other side who's gonna kick your ass.
And they need Colt, so they have a fucking true vocal
leader. Oh my god. Like, honestly, the best part is that for 5s, they already have their biggest weaknesses covered up. I think 630 is gonna absolutely eat on this team. I think he might be top 5, top 10 in the league in scoring with this group.
Do you think that? Because we don't have a conversation very much about bench guys. Do you think if Colt was there, bringing a lot more energy, do you think that we see Celtics' path a little bit different? Do you think we see them maybe here today?
No. I think their biggest issue, regardless of energy, was offense. I don't think they had the shooting to really get much further than this. I think it is a little bit disappointing for them that they couldn't scrap together one of these series and get to Friday, especially with the win percentage we saw all year. But honestly, considering the fact that we just kept saying that they can't win the biggest series. Hey, what do you know? They, again, could not win the biggest series, so I can only be so surprised.
Also, I'm loving this scoring outburst that we're all of a sudden seeing from Icy.
Yeah, it's great. Oh, my God.
In the playoffs. It's given – you could tell, like, Vandy's probably just like, yes.
Yes.
I have vibes of Jomar and Wolf back now.
That's what it takes. Like, you can't just have one guy scoring. Like, all 3 guys have to score. Not even just Icy, bro. Look at Odon out here. He's like – even some of the shots that, if you go back and watch their games, like, even some of the shots that he's missing, just the fact that he's taking these shots with confidence, like, from everywhere, top, like, wing threes, top of the key threes, corners, mid-ranges, like, Odon is showing so much offensive potential. Yeah. I'm very, very impressed. I think he's going to be an absolute dog in fives. Really impressed.
I think the only thing I didn't like about Vandy's game yesterday is that he was rim running more than I feel like we ever seen him do.
It was too much.
But it was good because I'm fine with you rim running if you're getting threes from somewhere else, and that's where Icy came into the mix.
Do you know what he was doing? I know we always say he was using his dribbling to set up his playmaking like he's been doing, and when the playmaking wasn't there, he would just go to the rim. Yeah. He really didn't take that many threes. Like if you go back and look at the series box scores, I think he took under 10 threes for the series.
It was game 1 or the last game. He was like 4 for 4, 5 for 5 to like by the end of the game, and it was just all from like rim runs. There was no middies, anything like that. It was just straight to the paint. So yeah, I like what I saw from him. Disappointing for the Celtics not put up more of a fight, but good job by the great. I mean, I was looking because where we were commentating, I saw AA, I saw Lang, I saw Vandy Sen. They were waiting a while to play.
Dude,
and Lang was looking at me like with a watch, sitting there, like looking like he's falling asleep. As the game's about to start, I turn around as I'm looking at the stage, and Lang is just like eyes looking like they're like closing, walking around, looks at me, and I just like shrug at him. He just like smiles back and says, "Let's go."
Hey, dude. Hey, that's why it's good to have. What is it, 19-year-old Odon who's just like, let's go! We're sitting around all day!
Screaming the entire time.
It's 10:30, it's gamer hours, let's go! So yeah, Grizz Gaming got it done over the Celtics. On to the next elimination game. Bucks Gaming take down Heat Check in another just epic series. That was an awesome series.
That
was awesome.
Dimes had the shot of the night for me when he just walked into that fucking three. Like, so unexpected because you don't see power forwards do it. When he just got the ball at half court, took a couple dribbles in, immediately, like, almost a big man quick stop.
Yeah.
And shot the three and greened it. I was like, oh, shit.
He is playing at the craziest of levels right now. Like, his progression from, hey, I'm going to play center in the 2K League to, oh, fuck, has been so much fun to watch. And his battle with Dietrich, man, you just couldn't have asked for a better performance from a popper and an inside going toe-to-toe.
Yeah.
I mean, they were throwing fucking haymakers at each other. Dietrich getting big rebounds, screaming at Dimes. Dimes hitting big threes, screaming back at Dietrich. It was great. But honestly, the MVP of this series for me was Dawsix. I thought he was sensational in some of these games, working around screens, getting contests. Him and Kai had just had an absolute war. I love this series. I could watch this series another 3 times. I thought it might have been our best of the day.
I need to see. I feel like Dawsix is one of the only. When we get like the point of view of the lockdown on the right side of the stage, and so we get to see them in the pregame, like what they're changing. A lot of the guys don't have any animations set on their lockdowns.
Yeah,
I bet Dawsix has something because like his behind the backs that he hits and some of the moves that he hits. I'm like, okay, no other lockdown is doing no specific
moves. All of them.
Yeah,
he's got all of them.
It's almost like he knows that he's going to be in attack mode, so he has specific ones set, and that's what I liked about him so much is that I think him and Bear the Beast have probably the highest success rate with the ball in their hands, isoing out of a corner. I think Dawsix does a better job of utilizing it behind the back to get open threes.
Yes.
But Bear the Beast does that traditional John Wall hop back to get the open shots too. So it's nice to see the dynamic and how they've kind of set the tone this year, be able to make those threes. It's concerning. I mean, obviously their season comes to an end. We'll see Heat Check Gaming in 5s, but back-to-back tournaments now where they dropped out of the upper bracket, went straight down to the lower bracket, didn't even make a run at all, didn't win a round, lost again back-to-back.
Yeah.
And that's a little alarming, in that, but again, it's the inside. We will always say it and stick to it. Pistons GT was able to do it season 1 because it was the first year of 3v3. People were trying to figure out how to play. We saw a bunch of different metas form during that very first season of 3 versus 3. Now, an inside will never prevail. It'll be good enough to win you some rounds, make you some money. It'll never win a tournament. It'll never win a championship. So I'm hoping that moving forward that we will never see an inside big come out again in the threes world.
I think it's done.
It's pointless to have out there. I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I mean, credit to Dietrich and what he was able to do. I think he had a phenomenal season, his offensive consistency. But I like to keep it real. And I talk about this with some centers who play in 5v5 that are on bad teams, and they're not really the best centers, but guess what? At the center position, you were always going to get your stats. You were always going to get rebounds. It is naturally going to come during a game. You were always going to score points during a game. And especially in threes, when you're on a build like that, where it consists of Kai being double-teamed and you just openly dunking the ball, yes, I expect you to have a super fucking high field goal percentage. The one thing that impressed me most, and I think that he could have done this even on the power forward too, but it's crazy that he's doing it on the slower center, is the defensive plays that he was making.
Yeah,
I think that was the biggest game changer. Like the offense and stuff, I was not wowed by that whatsoever. It's fully expected when you have that archetype out there. You're fully expected to be out rebounding everybody. And, that's where the pressure came about when they would play teams with poppers and how much emphasis would have to be put on, fuck. We just have to out-rebound them. But one rebound doesn't matter. That's what was crazy about the series. When Heat Check Gaming out-rebounded the Bucks, even just by one, they won the game up until that very last game.
Yeah.
I think Heat Check out-rebounded them on the offensive end only by one. But then it was still the Bucks on top of the victory.
Credit to Dimes, man. He was boxing out. He was going crazy.
There was
all over the place.
A Johnny Red box out on Dietrich from the free throw line, and Johnny Red got the board. I was like, that's the fucking little side. And it goes down on the other side and knocks down the three.
We haven't even talked about Johnny. Amazing moment at the end of that series when they won, and he just turns to Dimes and goes, I'm a point guard now! I'm a point guard!
CP's on the bench like,
what the fuck, man? That Bucks team is an absolute hoot, man. I'm happy that they're making a run. They are just so scary in that lower bracket. But, quick in memoriam for me for Heat Check. This is about as far as I figured that they would go. I didn't see them as a Final Four team. I thought that maybe they'd get to Friday, but they just ran into the wrong team in the lower bracket. Just a little bit, I think, of a shame. I think for me, offensively, it just came down to the fact that Matty could not hit enough shots to really turn this team into a juggernaut. They needed him to really step up this week, and he just didn't on the offensive end. I thought defensively him and Dietrich had great chemistry all year long, but just they needed one more elite shooter, and they just didn't have it. Okay, on to the next one. 76ers GC versus Dribble Gods. I don't have a lot to say about this series, Dirk. I did not watch any of this. I did not see a single game.
We didn't get a peek in, I think, at all.
I didn't see a
the
game.
Closing moments.
I don't have much to say.
I thought that this could be one with Philly again. Still not. I feel like we don't know their identity too well. That the Dribble Gods could have potentially taken this, but good job by Philly to just get the job done against the community side.
Okay, you know what? I said this yesterday. You said it wasn't nice. I'm gonna say it again, bro. The Sixers have dark magic. They're gonna make it to Championship Saturday because they are gonna play.
I don't think they beat. I don't think they beat the Rim Runners.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Oh,
I think.
Okay, we'll get to that series then.
Yeah.
I think it's more crazy to me that of course it's the Sixers that play back-to-back community teams in the lower bracket. Because of course it is. Because they have dark magic on their side.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you know what they are? They are the Miami Heat with Eric Spoelstra. That's the Sixers. Where you're just like, how do they keep winning these games? They just shot 55% from three.
I'm happy they just got the job done.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say. We didn't get to see him a whole lot, but now we get the good Dre versus evil Dre matchup.
No, it's gonna be great. We'll get to that one. But yeah, any in memoriam for Dribble Gods? Quick.
It's just I think
Kenny Zeus competed.
Yeah, I'll say
he competed.
I'll
Still
say
one of the best 2K players in
that,
the world.
The one thing that Dribble Gods didn't do good enough throughout threes. In the community side of things, obviously everybody from the community side is going to play their one way. They're not going to play 2K League threes. They're going to play stage and community threes. The 2K League teams, you have to play a certain way when you get in here. You can't have that cookie cutter style with gameplay. Like Team Handles, I feel like they had a relatively cookie cutter style with gameplay when they played back when our first year 3v3.
Yeah, they just knew how to use the popper. None of our teams
and they were kind of just going with that OG method. I think the Dribble Gods at times were trying to emulate what 2K League teams were doing, and they weren't able to do that. And that's where the one thing Rim Runners has been able to do right from the jump. Maybe it didn't work against the community side. They weren't going crazy in the closed qualifiers, but it was enough to actually beat that competition. I'll be interested to see how everything plays out. If this is a team that comes back next year with that same three, will things end up changing up? But you got to respect. I mean, fuck it if you don't win games in the slam and switch. You come out here in the playoffs and you win. That's where it has more magnitude than anything else that you've done in those past two tournaments.
We thought that they wouldn't even make it past day one. The fact that they made it to day two for me is a big thumbs up. All right, on to our last series. Rim Runners take down Nets GC, and honestly, dude, they put Brooklyn out of their misery. That's what that series felt like to me. It's like the Nets could not have had a more miserable three season. Yep. Everything that they wanted to do just totally blew up in their face in the most painful way possible. So of course they're going to lose a series that they were up against a community team, lose 2 straight, have brutal closeouts all series long, and then just lose in dramatic fashion in Game 5.
And the listening's just, it was so deflating. I remember the one that stuck out to me was when Straits was like, they're fucking clapping now, bro. What the fuck?
They're front running.
There was that crazy stretch of where Like, it was midway point of the crazy game where we all went fucking berserk towards the end. It was a midway point of that game where the Nets couldn't get a single thing of offense going. The rim runners, as soon as we went into listening, could not get offense going. As soon as we turned to listening off, offense goes back to free-flowing. Everyone's fucking scoring. But it was that listening, just where, like, you're hearing Steve's like, we gotta fucking do something. Like, we gotta get the ball in the basket. Like, we're getting some stops. We need to score. And it was just open miss after open miss. The rim runners were taking contested shots. Like, the rim runners are fucking torched. They're done for. And then they came back.
They came back and won. I will say, I am extremely impressed by the resilience of this rim runners team. I feel like all season long, it's just been, as soon as you think they're dead, they're like, but are we? Yeah. Like, they'll go. I feel like they just keep going down 2-1 in these series and then forcing game 5s and then making crazy game 5s out of it. Like, they just don't die because the three of them are so talented. They have so much 2K knowledge and 3v3 skill. Like, man, there was some stuff that Quickster was doing yesterday on greens that I've straight up, like, just not really seen Locks do this year to greens. Just forcing him into the corners, like, funneling him down low into like, a point guard defender. Like, I don't entirely know if rim runners, like, know what they're doing. Yeah. But whatever they're doing, it's super impressive, and it just keeps working. I do want to give a special shout-out to Swag's return, because I feel like he's kind of the forgotten third guy on that team.
Definitely.
He has been a dog rebounder all season long. He loves outlet passes. He plays really good defense. He should have been one of the finalists for Amateur of the Year. I just don't think they wanted to put all three guys on there. But I thought out of all the community teams, he was without a question the best big that we had out of them. And I think he's competing to be one of the 10 best bigs that we've had in threes this year. He's been really good.
I think Swags is really starting to push his case for Amateur of the Year, too.
What the hell?
Like, he's like, slowly, we've been keeping an eye on Shifty.
He's been their best player this week.
Yeah, Shifty's been good, but, like, Swags is, like, slowly creeping up that ladder.
Every single time they need somebody to make a play, it's always him. Or it's Quickster getting one of those crazy steals underneath the rim. That, by the way, JT keeps calling those fluke steals. They're not. You have to time that perfectly.
So when
those are not flukes.
When he's calling those fluke steals, I'm like, no, they're not. It's the
right
stick
steals. It's because he's a point guard, and those kind of steals really piss him off. They're not flukes because not everybody can do them.
It's holding the right stick up. It's not fluke. Like, your hands are up. The fluke steals are the fucking. I'm trying to even think of, like, what we're considering a fluke steal. We're considering just a clean pluck of fluke steal.
I personally don't think that there are a lot. Again, I'm not a 2K player in the way that these guys are, but, like, I don't know how many fluke steals we have anymore, because a lot of the only way to really get steals now is that you have to right stick rip people. You have to basically have the ball hit your full player's avatar to get the ball out of your hand. Even then, sometimes the ball will just go through your guy. You need a clean rip. You need kind of a bump, or you just have to have your hands up. That's the only way to get a steal. I don't even know if there are flukes anymore.
That's the weird part about when people, people will call flukes like when you dribble in and the ball hits the person's ass. But I'm like, what do you want it to just dribble it into the avatar?
But that's the funny part is that the ball will still sometimes go through the guys. Like, I've seen that multiple times.
I consider for me, the definition of fluke now is when you pluck the ball, like you put them in the animations, like you actually reach in for it, because those are just those are the RNG ones.
Yes, the lucky animations.
Now, the ones where you guess where you're going, you swipe before and you knock that away, those are like the skill gap steals.
You know what? Here, perfect example of what a fluke steal is. We have this in the Celtics Grizz series where it was Vandy on Leche, and Vandy got the best possible steal animation that you could. The ball went on the floor, and it was a 50-50 ball, and Vandy's avatar was the one who came away with it. That's a fluke steal.
Yeah.
That's a fluke steal.
It's honestly, the flukes now are ones that come from reach in animations, and you get the steal from it. The right stick ones, I really like, because it's a different gap. I mean, it's a fucking player model.
It also looks different. It looks way different.
It's changed the way that people have been playing threes. We have Quickster more than anybody else, I think, when they get those balls and the rebounds and he just stands there. It's like what people started doing in 5v5 towards like the end of the retail cycle of pre-draft, is that people started to figure out, it's like, oh shit, I can't reach anymore because I'm going to get a transition take. Let me just wall up in front and the ball's going to hit off of him. So it's nice to see the adjustment they made.
Yeah, I'm very impressed. That this Rim Runners team just keeps getting better. All right, in memoriam for Nets GC, and then we'll move on to our games coming on tonight. I think this is officially my most disappointing team of the year. I think they might tell you the same, that they left so much money on the table in this game mode this year. This game mode all year long was clamoring for for a fourth best team, clamoring for a team to be like, hey, we need a fourth between Gen G, Magic, and Lakers. Like, who's going to be the number 4 team? And it was right there for the Nets. It was right there for them to walk in. Green's big season, Street Steve's consistent defense, it was right there. And they just never really got past, like, the 7th best team in the league once they started taking that huge fall. They collapsed, man. Like, we can be honest about it now. Like, this was a bona fide collapse for the Nets. They started the season hot. They're one of the best teams in the league. And from the end of the slam onwards, dude, they completely imploded. And they just never found their footing again. And, you know, I'm excited for them in 5s. I will say, though, Dirk, like, there are a lot of teams this week that are making me excited for 5s, even if they're losing.
Yeah.
I'm putting the I am concerned tag out for Nets GC because I look at the issues that they have where it's like they need more consistent shooting and they just have to be more consistent on the defensive end. And I look at who they're adding in 5s and it's like they're adding in Reezy and Walnut. I don't know how much either of those are going to solve the issues that they have. I feel like if anything, their issues are going to be almost, multiplied by, you know, Reezy has not been the most efficient shooter the past couple of years. He's had some issues with consistency, and I love Walnut, but I already had my questions about a Street Steve's Walnut front court in 5s. I still have a lot of those questions.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold like any doubt when it comes to shooting in 5v5, even if people were bad shooting in 3s, just because I know it is going to be different. And I still always go back to Wolf was always the prime example of how you could be an automatic sniper in 3s and you go to 5s and you just can't fucking shoot.
Yeah.
So I know sometimes it's the opposite. Some people might not be able to shoot. Like, it will not surprise me that we come on in 5s and like TB, DJ, and Killy are all just fucking knocked down when they get the catch and shoot shots. So I already kind of touched up on the Nets at the top of it. So I'd say probably the most disappointing again. It's them and the Pistons that were in like a race between who's the most disappointing. I think the Nets edged it out.
Green's made me sad this year. I was really hoping that we were going to see like MVP Greens all year, and we didn't even get MVP finalist Greens. Very upsetting. All right, let's get into our series of tonight, and then we'll head on out of here. Starting the upper bracket, Lakers T-Wolves, the rematch. It's the Kai Bowl, the big time Kai Bowl.
The only time they squared off was they got swept in the losers final.
Switch Open losers finals. I am so excited for this series because this T-Wolves team is a brutal matchup for the Lakers on paper. This is probably their hardest matchup. Even more, I think they actually match up really well with the Magic. Just, you know, it's just a really tough series because the Magic are so good. But just with the way that the T-Wolves play with, you know, always attacking secondary defenders with Bear, Iggy Mo being just a dog on both ends now, and then just this two-top guy, man, this fucking guy. I might be his biggest fan. I love guards who play with unique styles and never stray from it. He never strays from it. He constantly doubles down on his own style of play. I love it. I absolutely love it. More guards need to do that. More guards need to go to their teammates and say, fuck you guys. You don't know how I play best. I'm doing whatever the hell I want. That's why I love Kai. That's why I love guys like Tutok. That's why I love Greens last year. They stick to their styles against every single thing possible. And look, Tutok could have moved off that shooting guard build. They started the season like crap. There was a whole stretch where he just stopped shooting threes. And yet now you look at him and all of that time spent was worth it. Because that shooting guard build that he's on is it's just so damn good. And he's just dogging people out. I'm very excited for this series. I hope it goes 5. I hope we have drama. I hope they're screaming at each other. I hope Bear tells Kai that he was the one who held him back all these years. I want all of it. I want everything.
This is 100% going to be the most electrifying
it's gonna be
series.
Great.
I mean, even that content piece, we couldn't hear it on broadcast day 1, but I heard it day 2. Or I looked at it on social media. Bear was saying that he's like, yeah, my teammates thought that I suck, so I didn't play threes at all last year. He's like, so now I'm here to like put them on notice.
Dude, he's so good.
That's bro. I again, like I've said it so long, and I will always stick to it. If you play point guard at a high level, you can move to like almost any position. Lockdown's always the one in question because again, these new school guards are not the best defenders, but Bear to Beast has been around the block for very many a fucking
he's been
time.
playing 5 out for so long. You have to know how to play defense.
And again, like he came into the league in season 2 where like the lockdown, we started to see a little bit more transition where the lockdown started guarding the play. But it's just a lot of these guys who are built up off the OG days of 2K, especially the team up heads and the team up community on Xbox was always way, way, way larger than what we saw on PlayStation.
Yeah.
So you just get an infinite amount of reps of doing that. And so it's honestly like Bear on the defensive side of things never does anything that wows us.
Yes.
He just plays like your straight up defense. He's not somebody who's going to go out there and get you a bunch of, plucks, steals, but he's going to be the guy that is going to be constantly in the play, in your face, nonstop. A phenomenal one-on-one defender. And then on offense, the way he's just able to dictate the press breaks, the way he's able to dictate it once he gets isolations. It is a thing of beauty. I think that the stage environment, obviously, he thrives in that environment. But this is going to be one of those matchups where we're like the people are going to be packed into the fucking studio, and I think players that are like living in Market are going to be like, fuck, I'm going to clear my schedule for the day. I'm going to come down and watch it.
This is the one. I mean, if you're going to watch any series of our playoffs, this is the one. And also on the Bear thing, for as good as Bear has been at lock, I think what has taken this team over the edge is his defensive chemistry with Iggy Mo has gone to a completely other level. Because like you said, Bear he's a very aggressive defender at lock, which means that he's going to leave some stuff open on the back end. He's going to need somebody to clean up back there. And I think Iggy Mo has just been outstanding, like hedging on some stuff, like going when he needs to go, not, playing drop when he needs to drop, the good rebounds, the outlets. Also, one thing that the T-Wolves do really well, they inbound the fucking ball without turning it over. I cannot remember the last time I saw that team turn it over on an inbounds in a big spot. It infuriates me how often teams rush and how often they do stupid things with inbounding the ball. And the T-Wolves just don't. They wait. Hey, is Tutak open on the right side? No, he's not. Bear come back and get the ball, and he just goes down the left side of the court and resets the offense. I never see them mess up an inbounds. And I know that's like a really stupid thing to bring up, but those are extra possessions. If you give up a 3, you fuck up the inbound, you give up another 3, that's a 6-0 run in 5 seconds. Like, they just never give up the stupid stuff like that, and it makes me smile. Because I hate so much when teams rush inbounds. Stop rushing inbounds. We saw it like 6 times yesterday, and they just give up open 3s every time. That's how the T-Wolves won one of their games. That's how they won. 3, inbound steal 3. It infuriates me. I hate it. But the T-Wolves don't do it. Now we get to see them against the Lakers. Give me a prediction for this series. Fuck it. We're doing predictions today.
I think LA will take it.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh,
okay. I have them getting their revenge. So if there's one thing that I've noticed so far, going into the third day, it's that the Lakers dictated the environment yesterday.
Ooh.
We have not seen a team get hyped up on stage and get the flow of the crowd and everybody around them and channel that into the series.
Damn.
The Lakers are the first team that we have seen do that.
That would hard.
Dominated it.
Dictate the environment.
But now you are going against a T-Wolves team who is also going to have a lot of words to say on the other side. But that's why I think that this is going to be electric. I think the Lakers will take it. I think that this is going to go Game 5, and I think that we'll probably end up seeing the T-Wolves match up with them again. I think the T-Wolves are due if they get dropped down to make another run through.
Yeah, and wonderful that the loser of Lakers T-Wolves will end up playing the winner of Grizz Gaming Bucks Gaming. So we're gonna have a great second round series. All right, I didn't make a prediction. I'm gonna take T-Wolves in 5 in that one. I think the Lakers will make the finals through the lower bracket.
So there's a chance that if the T-Wolves drop, that we might, if the Bucks win, we'll get another rematch of the upper bracket round 1 where the T-Wolves beat the Bucks.
Exactly. On to the next one, Magic Gaming Gen G. Not nearly as excited for this series because I feel like we've seen this series multiple times, and I feel like I know how this series is going to go. You want to know how this series is going to go? We're going to come out of Game 2. It's going to be tied 1-1. Okay, it's going to be tied 1-1. We're going to talk about how Gen G needs to make a couple adjustments, how the series is right there for them. They can win this series, man. They can do it. Magic are going to smoke them 2-0. It's going to be 3-1. I swear to you, this Magic team, there's no team I want to play less. If I was a league player, I want nothing to do with this team. They must be so infuriating to play against because you never have them. You never truly. They're like an amoeba. They just slip through your hands constantly. Even in the series last round against the Heat, like the Heat thought they had them. Like Kai, like they kept going into these huddles. I was standing there like, dude, we got them. We're right there. Like we just have to do A, B, C, and D, and then they just get smoked. Like. This team is infuriating to play against. I'm going to take Magic Gaming 3-1. I think the major key for this is going to be the fact that Dude, Jolo has been awful shooting the ball so far this week. He's been a big reason why they keep going down 2-0 in these series. He's been opening series horribly. They can knock it off to that kind of start. If they go down 2-0, it's going to be a sweep.
I know the one thing with Gen G that I've been kind of monitoring is Jolo's individual play in clutch time moments has not been good.
No, like, it could be missed a lot of big shots.
One of those final possession things to where like he's just throwing ill-advised passes, he's passing out of shots, like things like that is the mistakes that you can't make, especially going into day 3 of this tournament.
And teams are starting to not fall for the Law-Rich offense thing anymore. Like they're really starting to press
Law-Rich has been missing a lot of wide open too.
It's because he hasn't been getting a lot of open shots, man. And when he has, like maybe they're opens instead of wide opens. Like they've been forcing the ball into Jolo's hands more and more. All right, to the bottom side, Grizz Gaming, Bucks Gaming. I feel for the Grizz. They did a great job getting here. They did a great job getting to Friday. I think this is probably as far as I thought that they were going to go. This Bucks team's on an all-time lower bracket heater. I think that the Bucks might sweep them. I'm going to take 3-1 though over the Grizz. I think this is honestly, if it was Grizz versus Sixers, I would take the Grizz. Mm-hmm. But they're just on the unfortunate side of the bracket with Bucks Gaming.
Yeah, I'll go, because we never get sweeps, I will go game 4 for Bucks Gaming as well. I think that the 3-point shooting from Johnny and everybody else as a collective will be too much, especially with Vandy showing us that he's not really putting up a lot of threes.
Yeah.
I don't think that we're going to see like an Icy and Don masterclass with getting those threes up from behind the arc. So if Vandy comes out and we start to see him shooting more threes, I think that the series might be a little different, might be pushed to that game 5, but I think that Johnny Red and the Bucks will be too much.
You know, I'll tell you, man, I think the Bucks are going to win. You can sign me up right now for a Vandy Legacy series, bro. I'll pay him myself. I want a Vandy Legacy series on stage against Dimes, Johnny, and Dawson. Can you imagine if Vandy just averages like 16 a game and they win the series?
It wouldn't surprise me, because that's what like we've seen from him in the past, but I don't know. I'm with you. Bad Bucks heater. They are back. The lower bracket run so far has been phenomenal.
Watching Dimes play 3 is just very fun. I'm enjoying it a lot. All right, our last series of the day, and then we can get out of here. 76ers GC versus Rim Runners. Man, I want the Rim Runners to win. I'm not even gonna lie to you, man. I told DT last night when we were in the lobby, walking out of the venue. I saw him. I was like, "You guys aren't gonna lose the community team, right?" He's like, "Come on, man. There's no way." I was like, "These are the standards, man. Like somebody has to beat them." I don't think this is gonna be the Sixers team though. Also, can you? No, my water's right here. Never mind. Hold on. I need to mute this. Sorry, big cough. Back to it. Go, Dirk.
I think the Rim Runners get it done, man. I've seen enough now for them in the stage environment and the way that they play. That's why I wanted to, when Unguardable came and stole the headset from you. Well, you handedly just gave it to him and had it.
Yeah, I gave it to him. He didn't steal it. I was like, "Do you want to come on?"
When he came out, I thought he was just gonna pop on camera. I was like, "Headset?" He goes, "Oh yeah." I had to ask him about the Rim Runners to get it from one of the best guards that we have in the league's perspective. And I teed it up the question to him. I was like, they play the most 2K League style 3v3 out of any community team that we've probably seen ever.
Yeah, I agree.
And he was immediately like, yeah, and I think that that's what makes them so special. I think that they have cracked the code of how you play threes in this league. I think that you are going up against a team in 76ers GC who, while they have been able to string together some wins, we still have a lot of questions about them. And the teams that we still have questions about going into day 3 are the ones that are going to be the most vulnerable. So I think that the Rim Runners will take it. I think it'll be close, but I saw what I need to see yesterday from the Rim Runners in going in that series. I mean, again, how do you gauge the Rim Runner skill when you're going up against a Nets GC team who's notoriously bad in this one? The Knicks team, who we thought were going to be a lot better, they got the job done sweeping them. So, but I still think that the 76ers are kind of at the level of the Nets and those teams that we saw prior. So I think that they'll come out on top with a win.
It's also going to sound dumb. The Rim Runners have had a lot of experience on our big stage already. Like
they've played on stage every single game, right?
Yeah, they and also they look really comfortable at it now. I think what's so crazy about them 3 I think they're the youngest community team that we've ever had in terms of like combined ages.
Yeah,
They
how
all
old
seem
are
like
they?
18, 19.
Yeah.
I don't think they're much older than that.
I know that. So I thought they were here by themselves because obviously in the huddle, one of their dads is here. I'm pretty sure, on the back.
He's chaperoning.
I've been seeing it. Yeah. So now you say chaperoning. I'm like, how old are they?
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. I think they must just be like maybe right out of high school, like they're 18, 19.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not surprised that they brought. Like, one of them brought a parent with them. Like, they probably do need somebody to just kind of, like, help them out. Like, buy them some stuff at CVS. Like, it's that's a big trip, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot. So, yeah, I'm going to take the Rim Runners in this one. However, if the Sixers win this just purely off of, like, it's the Sixers and they just always win these games, I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, here, before we go, I told you that we are allowed to change our finals predictions and all that stuff when we did this. We haven't talked about it since.
I did Lakers Magic. I think it was my prediction.
Yeah, it was originally your prediction. I took Magic Pistons. Obviously, that is not going to happen. So, do you want to change your pick? This is your last chance to change. Do you want to change your pick?
Nope. I still go Lakers Magic.
Okay, he's going to take Lakers Magic. I am going to change my pick.
You're going to go T-Wolves Magic?
Yeah, I'm going to go T-Wolves Magic Finals. Not that I think that the Lakers are bad. I just...
Who's upper, who's lower?
Magic upper. Oh, my God. Okay. They're not going to lose a series. I think they're going to sweep the playoffs. I don't know how this team loses a series. I don't know how you beat them 3 times in 5 games. So I'm going to go Magic T-Wolves. I think the T-Wolves at this point... it's good because if they lose to the Lakers here, they'll drop down and they'll play the winner of Grizz Gaming Bucks. And then they'll play the winner... after that of 76ers Rim Runners. So, like, there's a real track here for T-Wolves Gaming to get all the way to the finals without ever having played Magic Gaming. And then they get another crack at them on the big stage. I still have the Magic winning the title. Nothing has happened this week to dissuade me from my thoughts that we have the 2 best teams in the league. And then we have a bunch of teams who are like still trying to figure it out. Yeah. The only reason I think that the T-Wolves are going to be the team in the finals is purely variance. I think it would be almost a statistical anomaly to have our number 1 and number 2 seeds be the 2 teams in the finals. Yeah. So I'm going to hedge off of that anomaly and say that it'll be our 4 seed and our 2 seed in the finals.
All right. Fun note. We have the Bucks and the T-Wolves, 2 organizations that are still fighting to be the first team to ever win a 3v3 and 5v5.
Oh, that's title. A great call, yeah.
So that's something to keep track of. That'd be fucking dope if that ends up happening, because now you've officially completed the Infinity Gauntlet.
It is kind of funny how much this season is mimicking last year. Like, the Lakers are basically just taking over the Pistons' mantle. Magic is just taking over the Duke's mantle. Who was the team that got really hot last year in the playoffs? I feel like we had one team. Oh, the T-Wolves Gaming or Bucks Gaming from last year.
Yeah.
Where they just keep, they made a couple Final Fours, made a couple crazy runs, never got over the edge, and then I have to figure out who Gen G is from last year. I'm trying to think. They're the Nets.
Yeah, I was about to say. It should
they're the Nets. All right, that's going to do it for us here. We will see you guys tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Twitch and YouTube. This is going to be the best night of threes that we've had all year. I feel very, very strongly about that. So be there or be square. We'll see you guys on broadcast. Adios.
Bye.